Most people think NATO countries owe America money. They don't. The real problem is something much bigger, and it's been hiding in plain sight.
Most people have heard the word NATO, but the way it gets tossed around in the news can make it feel distant, complicated, or wrapped in political noise. In reality, the idea behind NATO is simple. It's a group of countries that agree to look out for one another. If one is threatened, the others stand with it. That's the heart of the alliance. But over the years, a different conversation has taken center stage, a conversation about money, fairness, and responsibility. You've probably heard people say that certain countries owe money to NATO or that they're not paying their dues. It sounds dramatic, but it's not actually how the system works. There are no dues, there are no invoices, there are no late fees. Still, something real is happening underneath the noise. Some countries haven't been investing enough in their own defense, and when that happens, the United States ends up carrying more of the load. That's the real issue. Not debt, not payments, but burden sharing. Today, we're going to walk through this in a calm, clear way. What NATO is, what the 2% number really means, why the United States carries so much weight, and what a healthier, more balanced alliance could look like. NATO was created after World War II, at a time when Europe was rebuilding and the world was shifting into a new era. The idea was simple. If any member was attacked, the others would come to its defense. That promise, called Article 5, has only been used once, and it was used to defend the United States after 9/11. But here's where the confusion starts. NATO does have a shared budget, but it's tiny. It covers things like buildings, administration, and joint programs. It's not what people argue about. The big number, the famous 2%, is not a fee. It's a guideline for how much each country should spend on its own defense. That money stays inside each country. It pays for their own troops, their own equipment, their own readiness. So why does the 2% number matter? Because if a country doesn't invest in its own defense, it can't contribute much to the alliance. And when that happens, the United States fills the gap. Not because we're forced to, but because we're the only member with the size, reach, and capability to do it. This is where the debate begins. Not about dues, not about payments, but about fairness. To understand the pressure behind this issue, think of NATO like a neighborhood watch. Everyone agrees to keep an eye out. Everyone agrees to lock their doors, turn on their lights, and stay alert. But if half the neighbors stop doing their part, the burden shifts to the ones who stay vigilant. That's what has happened inside NATO. Some countries have strong, modern militaries. Others have allowed their forces to shrink. Some have invested heavily in new technology. Others have delayed upgrades for years. And when a crisis appears, the countries that underinvested look to the United States to fill the gap. This isn't new. It's been happening for decades. After the Cold War, many European countries cut their defense budgets. They assumed the world was safer. They assumed the United States would always be there. And for a long time, America was willing to carry that weight. But over time, the imbalance grew. The United States now provides most of the heavy equipment, most of the intelligence, most of the logistics, and most of the long-range capability that keeps the alliance strong. That creates pressure, not just on budgets, but on American service members, American families, and American taxpayers. And here's where the everyday impact becomes clear. When the United States carries more of the load, it means more deployments for American troops. It means more strain on military families. It means more wear on equipment. It means more responsibility falling on the same shoulders again and again. From a conservative national security perspective, the issue isn't NATO itself. The issue is balance. The alliance works best when every member takes its own defense seriously. When countries underinvest, the system leans too heavily on the United States. When they step up, the alliance becomes stronger and more stable. So what does a healthier future look like? It starts with clarity. Countries don't need to send money to the United States. They don't need to pay dues. They need to invest in their own defense. That means modern equipment, real training, real readiness, not just promises on paper. Imagine the alliance as a bridge. Each country is responsible for maintaining its own section. If one section weakens, the whole structure becomes unstable. But if every section is strong, the bridge can carry enormous weight. That's the analogy that fits NATO best. It's not about one country paying another. It's about each country reinforcing its own part of the structure. In the years ahead, the world will continue to shift. New threats will emerge, technology will evolve, and the alliance will need to adapt. But the core idea remains the same: shared responsibility. A strong NATO doesn't mean America carries everything. It means America leads, but others carry their share. It means the alliance is built on real capability, not wishful thinking. It means each country understands that freedom isn't free and security isn't automatic. And there's a human side to this. Behind every policy debate, there are people: soldiers, families, communities, and taxpayers. When the burden is shared fairly, the pressure on those people becomes lighter. When it's not, the weight grows heavier. A balanced alliance honors the people who serve, it respects the families who sacrifice, and it strengthens the world we pass on to the next generation. Take a moment and picture the alliance, not as a political talking point, but as a long line of nations standing shoulder to shoulder. Some tall, some small, some powerful, some rebuilding, but all committed to the same idea: that peace is worth protecting and that strength is safer than weakness. Now imagine that line only holds if everyone stands firm. If one steps back, the line bends. If several step back, the line breaks. But when each one stands steady, the line becomes unshakable. That's the heart of the NATO conversation. Not money owed, not dues unpaid, but strength shared, responsibility honored, and a future built on fairness, clarity, and commitment. The debate isn't about collecting payments. It's about making sure every member invests in its own security so the alliance can work the way it was meant to. When that happens, NATO becomes stronger, America becomes safer, and the world becomes more stable. And that's why this topic matters more than most people realize. Join the conversation in the comments, respectfully and thoughtfully. Subscribe if you haven't already. Give the video a thumbs up. Share the link with others who care about these issues. Be part of our community.
Please support the channel by clicking the logo on the left to go to our channel to subscribe, or the screen on the right for your next video. Thanks again.
Your next video is now ready.